All right, I'm going to show you some of the flies we ended up catching some fish on back in the afternoon. Started out in the morning catching a few fish on that glow ball, and went back in the afternoon, and I was throwing this little mohair leech. It's got some little purple flashaboo, and it's kind of a, I guess it's an olive brown, darker olive color with a gold bead on it. I don't know if you can see that. It's probably about a size 8, I'm thinking, maybe size 10. But I was just stripping that, and I ended up catching 5 or 6, 7 fish. Of course, you know, you miss a lot on this because they slam it, and if you just strip set. If you jerk, you'll usually pull it out of their mouth, so it takes a little bit to get used to it. But that was working pretty good for me. And I also caught some on a crackleback, black crackleback with a blue, or I think it's blue. Got blue wraps in there, and that's like a size 12. And I was putting a little bit of floating on that and just fishing it on top like a dry fly. And you know, after a while it'll start sinking again, and then you just let it swing down river and start stripping it back. But that was working pretty good for me. Alan was fishing his glow ball with his little WD-40 as a dropper, and he caught a bunch of fish too. So it was a pretty successful afternoon for us. Fishing's great right now. There's a lot of fish in the water. The flow's really nice. It's not like, as far as people, there's not as many people in the park as there would be in the summer. So you can still get a little bit of elbow room. You just got to pick your spots. And we're getting ready to go back down there. It's afternoon. We've already eaten again, and I'm gonna try to get some footage of some more topwater action.
And of course I do, and I start.
What's up, bub? Let's go. Come on, you're wasting fishing time.
I start there.
I just leave this on now. Get no better than that. It's good stuff. Come on. Sit down, brother. Throw that fly up. Get him?
I got him.
Sweet. It's a good one, isn't it? Yeah.
I took him.
Did you?
Yep. Well,
Last morning of the Montauk trip. It's been really good. Got my banana. Got my little protein bar. A bottle of water. And about 6:30 in the morning, just got out of the shower. Buzzer goes off at 7:30. You can start fishing in the park at 7:30. Last day, we're gonna go down there and fish for a few hours, come back. Kelly and the Daves are fixing some breakfast. We're gonna have some scrambled eggs and some bacon and who knows what else. It's been a treat. We've been treated like royalty. We've had baby back ribs and coleslaw and beans last night. We had spaghetti for lunch. We've had bratwurst and hamburgers. It's been a great trip. Caught a lot of fish. Had a lot of fun out on the water. It's been very peaceful. I'm a little tight, a little sore from standing in the river so long. So I'm getting ready to do me some stretches, kind of loosen up. And Alan's powdering his nose and putting on his deodorant and getting ready for the river, and we're going to go fish for a couple hours, like I said, and come back, eat some breakfast, and then pack up and go back to the river for a couple hours, and then head back to beautiful Cape Girardeau, Missouri. Thanks for coming along, and I'll talk to you about what we do. I think we're going to go down to the same area, and I'm going to start off with a dry fly again. I'm going to throw that black black parachute gnat, because
man, there's nothing like a topwater bite. When you're bass fishing, you're trout fishing, it's all the same. It's just amazing watching them come up and grab it.
That, my friends, is the siren. It means it's starting time, and we're still at the truck. Moving a little slow this morning. Actually, we're ahead of schedule. We slept in the last couple mornings.
Compared to what we usually are.
We'll be in a minute. We'll be in the river in about 5 minutes.
Yep.
Got a really nice fish on a crackleback. He's fighting pretty hard. Doesn't like being hooked. Yeah, eat it. Fishing was a lot slower. Sunday morning, we just put in about an hour and a half. We're getting ready to go get some breakfast, and then we're gonna come back out and fish for a few more hours. And these fish have been hammered. They're really difficult to catch. A lot of the fish have been taken out of the river. So when we got here Thursday, the river was loaded with fish. There's probably half the amount of fish that are out here right now, maybe less than that. Managed to catch a few on a some kind of green little midge with the WD-40 hanging off the back of it, and that's really about it. I think I caught 4 or 5 fish. Alan, what's your report?
Very, very slow. Got caught on mini jig and the WD-40 dropper. That's about all I caught them on. Caught 4 or 5 fish also.
And tell us about the nice company you had over the morning.
I had good company. I had company within about 8 foot of me on both sides of me. Wasn't very good company.
Yeah, it's funny about trout parks. It's a lot different than fishing out west like Colorado, Wyoming stuff. When you catch a fish, you'll notice people start working their way towards you, and I got some footage of it. I'll put it right here so you can see it. There was a guy just walked down the bank. I was fishing this hole, and he was a jig fisherman, and he just starts throwing right in my hole. And then there was another guy who was a fly fisherman, and he slides in below me, starts casting in a hole. You know, I just caught a fish there. So you gotta have a lot of patience when you're fishing in trout park, or you'll get really bitter quickly. Because people don't have a lot of respect. It's kind of a free for all out there.
That is true.
Yep.
Very true.
Here's the fish hatchery at Montauk. This is the main hatchery here, and it's pretty crazy if you've never seen a trout hatchery. You got all these rearing pools, and each one of these rearing pools has different size trout. You know, they're categorized by the length of the fish. So we're gonna go down here and have a look at a few of these little pools and see what's in here. Check this out. You can actually buy trout pellets. You put a quarter in this machine, and it's a little vending machine. You'll get some trout pellets, and then you can walk down there and feed the fish. They go absolutely nuts. It's pretty cool. Man's doing work, man. Doing work. We're gonna feed the fish. This is the catch and release area. They got a really small section of stream that's fly only, catch and release, immediate release after you hook them. It's really kind of filled in. It used to be a lot better, but they changed it and it's not quite the way it used to be. So we're walking up here to the upper hatchery. We got some food. We're gonna feed some of these fish. One of the attendants is already up here. He's already fed the fish, but they're always hungry. Folks, this is where they keep the big dogs. These fish are all 5 to 15, 20 pounds. Yeah, if you notice on some of these rearing pools, they've got wire, like chicken wire, poultry wire up and down here. That's to keep the eagles from coming down and scooping up all the smaller fish. All these fish in here are like 6 inches or so. And these eagles will, if you don't have this wire on here, they'll line up and they'll come right down like it's a landing strip, and they'll just take their big talons and grab them a mouth or a talon full of fish. So you gotta protect these little guys. Little mini jig fish. That fish bit, even though it was dead, it still bit my bait. Wow, that's hard to do. Folks, caught a dead fish. You know, just because a fish is dead doesn't mean that it still doesn't have enough energy left to grab your mini jig. That's disgusting. All right, this is the part that we dread. packing up. Gotta go back home, back to reality. But first, we're gonna go down to the river for a couple more hours. See if we can get a few fish. It's been a great trip. Got stuffed. I mean, the food was excellent. Just had eggs and potatoes and bacon. And we're gonna get all this stuff loaded up in the vehicle and go back to reality. Gotta go back to work, and I've been off for 4 days. It's been awesome. A really good time. So, road trip, shower and prepare for work in the morning, and back to reality. Trip's over. We're getting ready to make a trip back to Cape. We got some storms moving in. We got to fish for about an hour and a half on the river, and Alan wore them out. He was catching them on his little bitty mini jig. You can see right here. It's just a little light pink mini jig, and he probably stood in one hole and caught 6 or 7 really nice fish. I managed to catch a few fish, but they were definitely on that little mini jig. Hope you enjoyed the video, and until next time. So you guys just stay up here for the whole week, or what do you do?
We got here Thursday. That's usually we stay.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I'd like to fish Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and then leave if I could, but you know, don't always work out like that. You guys ever been up here in the wintertime when they have the catch and release?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's fun, isn't it? Yeah. That'll spoil you, especially that first couple weeks.
Yeah. Yeah.
You get some like 40 to 60 fish days, and you feel like you know what you're doing.
Every bit of it.
Yeah.